Happy New Year, friends. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. I hope you got a little bit of rest and recuperation after the year and all of its events. And I hope that you guys are excited about 2023 and looking forward to all the things coming your way. Whether that's stitchy new starts or life plans or maybe just nothing at all, maybe just quiet, which isn't a bad thing. So welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Melanie and this is my channel where I share my cross stitch projects. I love to talk about cross stitch. I love to see other people's cross stitch. And one of my very favorite things on Flosstube is WIP Parades. And today I am going to do a beginning of 2023 WIP Parade so that I can have a record of where I started with all of these WIPs at the beginning of the year. And you can get enabled possibly to see some projects you might like to start yourself. So I hope you've all been doing well. Apologies again for being absent for several months. You know, we don't plan these things in life, but sometimes there's things in life that have to take priority. And that's pretty much the story of the past couple of months since I've been away. But before I get into a quick life update, I want to do the giveaway. So in my last video, in honor of 3,000 YouTube subscribers, which I still can't believe 3,000 of you want to listen to me and look at my cross stitch, but I'm very grateful. I have a $30 gift card, electronic gift card. I'll email it to you for 123 Stitch. And it was open to all of my subscribers and you had to put the word subscriber in your comment. So I drew for that this morning and the winner is Yay, Janny, I'm so happy for you. I've communicated with Janny quite a bit over the years and she's just a wonderful person. And so I'm so happy that you got this gift card and I hope you treat yourself to a new start or supplies or whatever your heart desires. So thank you. Love you, girl. Let's talk life. Let's talk life. So life has been very busy. I think everybody's busy. Life is busy for everybody. Some positive things, some not so positive things, but I thought I'd catch you up on it. Some people like life updates. I always like life updates. Knowing a little bit about the person that I'm watching and getting to know them as a friend. If you're not interested, probably scoot ahead maybe like 5-6 minutes, something like that. I'll try to keep it brief and the WIP Parade will start. Okay, let's start. So the summer, I think the last time I spoke to you, I was getting ready to go on a vacation with my boyfriend, Matt, and we were going to do a West Coast swing. So from the southwest coast of Michigan up to the northwest coast and stay at several different towns and get to know them and do some sightseeing. So we did that and we had a wonderful time. And one of the things we decided to start doing is collecting a postcard from every place that we visit together. So I'll just quickly flash the postcards and tell you a little bit about each town, maybe insert a few pictures. So the first town we started at was Saugatuck. And this is a little picture or a little postcard we found in a like an art gallery. We had a great time in Saugatuck. It was the first stop we had. It's a little town on the water. It's very lively. When we showed up and we had our Airbnb was like above a cafe. I'll insert some pictures in a minute. And there were people just hooking up drum sets on the street and just going to town making music at like 2 in the morning, which was fun sometimes. And then other times you're like, I just want to sleep. But the view we had was amazing. There was a view of the river, which leads out to Lake Michigan. So I'll include a picture of that. We had some good food. We had a great time. Really liked this town. We went to Oval Beach. We saw Oval Beach there. It's kind of fun because I'm just like putting little memories on the back of these so that, you know, 40 years from now I can remember. Next town was Manistee. We stopped into Manistee. We went out on the beach. It was beautiful. I mean, just the views in every one of these towns, it doesn't matter which one you stop in. All along the way, they're just, I mean, this beautiful Lake Michigan. It's all sand on the west side of Michigan. For those of you who haven't been here, come visit us. We have the sand dunes, and so when you're standing on the shore and you look north, all you see is the dunes, you know, gliding down towards the water. It's just unbelievable. So we stopped in Manistee, we had some lunch. It was a very relaxing afternoon. Then we were on to Ludington, and this lighthouse says it all for Ludington. What a great little town this was. Kind of an easier pace, not like the hop-in scene of Saugatuck. You know, like Saugatuck had several blocks of shopping and restaurants and, you know, all kinds of events you could do, things you could do. Ludington was a bit more chill. And we liked it though. We liked it. We had an amazing Airbnb. I'll insert pictures of all of this, I guess, at the end because I didn't do it before. So I'll insert pictures of all of these trips at the end of my speech here. Yeah, so we had a great time. The best part about Ludington was we walked out to this lighthouse. So it was, I think, like, I want to say maybe a mile out to that lighthouse. And we walked out there and we were one of two people on the beach, or one of two couples on the beach. And then at one point they left and it was just us. And it was so quiet. There were tons of seagulls. I named it Seagull Beach because there's tons of little seagull footprints everywhere. And this lighthouse and the sun was going down. But the coolest thing to me was the beach was so untouched because people just, you know, weren't walking out there, that you could see the ripples in the sand from the waves, from the tide. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And so I took several pictures of that. Well, what the heck, I'll just insert a bunch of them here. So you see what I mean by the sand. It was incredible. Then we headed on up to Charlevoix. And here's a picture of Charlevoix. It's got one of those great big bridges that open up and allow the boats into and out of the harbor. So this was a fun town. It was like one big main strip and there were shops. You could go shopping. One night we sat at like a wine, kind of like a wine patio, and had a glass of wine and looked out at the boats and watched the waves, and we really enjoyed Charlevoix. We had an adorable little bed and breakfast, and it was like, not a bed and breakfast, but an Airbnb, and it was like at the top of Main Street. So Main Street kind of went down on a hill. So we just walked everywhere. We liked this a lot. And then lastly, we wish we would have had more time here, Petoskey. So Petoskey, you can see by the red dot there on the map of Michigan. It's quite far north. We really loved Petoskey and we saved it for last. I think we only planned to have like 2 days there. And I wish we would have like swapped the amount of time with Charlevoix because there was a ton of stuff going on here. We did axe throwing, which I have absolutely zero skill. Apparently I have no lumberjack genetics whatsoever. So we threw axes. We found this really cool food truck court. So it was literally like a fenced off area and there was a stage, not a stage, but like an area where some live music was playing and then a bar and then all kinds of TVs. And it was like, I think maybe like 6 or 7 food trucks in there and the food was phenomenal. The food was so good. So we went there more than one night and, you know, one night we tried the Philly cheesesteaks, and then one night we would try, there was a cheese truck, and we loved it. There was pizza, so we stopped there quite a few times. All along this trip, we were stopping at every mini putt-putt golf course we could find, and unfortunately, Matt did win this time. This time, Matt. So we did that. We really enjoyed this. There was a pretzel company here. I mean, just these buttery, amazing pretzels. So I'll insert a few more pictures here of Charlevoix and Petoskey. So it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful time. We really enjoyed it. And unfortunately, at the beginning of, well, I take that back. So yeah, before we left for that trip, my poor grandfather had fallen down the basement stairs, and he had been moved to a nursing home for rehabilitation. We got back from the trip, and Matt got COVID, which was really scary because he called me one night. He had like 103 fever, and we rushed to the ER, and I sat out in the parking lot waiting for, I don't even know, maybe it was like 4 hours or something. And they told him, all the people there, go home. They didn't have the bandwidth to see all the people in the waiting room. So that was scary. Luckily, he recovered from it and he's healthy. But along those lines, in the fall, my grandfather passed away. And I'm not going to talk about it too long or I'll start to cry. He was like a father to me because my own father died when I was 21. Ooh, one sec. And you've all lost people, you know, right? I don't even have to say the words. You've all lost people. We've all lost people in life. But it was tough. It was tough, and that's all I can say about it. But my grandmother is a champ. She is handling things really well. I mean, as well as you can be expected. They're married for over 60 years, still married. And so we've just been visiting with her and, you know, trying to just move on as a family best we can. So that was tough, you know, the grieving process and needing some time away, definitely away from Flosstube. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I had to get a tissue. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it. It's very emotional, obviously. He was a wonderful man and a wonderful grandfather, and I am blessed to have had him for 45 years. On a good note, during that time frame, my sister Megan, my baby sister, had a niece for me. Her name is Abigail. She is absolutely perfect. Meg had some worries in her pregnancy, like a lot of women do nowadays, about maybe some health concerns with the baby. So we were so grateful, so relieved when she came out beautiful and perfect. And she's thriving. She's thriving with her two sisters who adore her, and it was wonderful to spend the holiday with them. On top of that, we had Frankenmuth. Every year we go to Frankenmuth, Michigan, which is like, they call it Michigan's Little Bavaria. It's a town that has like Bavarian style shops and decor and everything Christmas you can imagine. Their famous store is Bronner's, which has like every ornament. If you want an ornament of a pineapple riding a skateboard, I think you could find it there. I mean, every ornament you can imagine. So we went there and we had a wonderful family dinner, which was really nice. And then Christmas, you know, all the fun of Christmas. And, you know, it was a hard Christmas not having my grandfather there, but we were thankful for everyone who was there. We were thankful that Abigail came into this world healthy. And that brings us to today. So, as you can see, I've been busy. And a lot of blessings in there as well. So, let's talk stitching. That's why you're here. I think I'm like 10 minutes in. So, 2023 is upon us. I love to make plans for my stitching. I know some people don't. They just want to stitch what they want when they want, and I feel that. I get that completely. I got a planner again this year. Last year's planner, let me see. Last year's planner, these are from Orange Circle Studio. Last year's planner was the dogs. So cute. And I did pretty good. You know, I'm not gonna be super strict about it, you know, but I did pretty good with some stickers and just kind of documenting what I stitched on that day. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And so I wanted to do that again. So I got this year's, and Amy from Amy Loves Totes, you're going to love this. Look at Turtles. Such a cute planner. Let me show you the beginning with January. I mean, colorful and little turtles and plants and all kinds of adorable stuff in this. I mean, this one's snails or slugs. I love it. So I got a little planner and I started filling it out, and it made me start thinking about plans for 2023. Let's see, total number of WIPs that I have. Let me look. 35. So I'm starting the year with 35 WIPs. I'm one of those people that I have a hard time with the monogamous stitching. I kind of get burnt out and I want to switch to something else. My sister Melissa, who I'm going to show you one of her projects in a minute, is the complete opposite. But I would like to get some of the WIPs done. And I've gotten, you know, I'm not going to show you how I've picked up new patterns for myself. I got new patterns for Christmas, of course. And, you know, Market's going to be coming out in a couple months, and I'm going to be, oh boy, wanting to stitch all those things. But I wanted to make a plan that would keep me focused on some of my WIPs and get them done this year. So here's the plan. The plan is every month I am going to try and finish one of my 35 WIPs. So one of these original 35 WIPs, starting the year 2023 with these. I'm going to try to finish one each month. And there's a lot of them in here. When I go through my WIP parade, there's a lot of them where I'm close and, you know, I don't know what it is. I see a squirrel, I see something shiny, and I'm off that way starting something else. Definitely not that I don't like them. So I'm going to try and finish one of those a month. And then anything else I want to work in that month, I do. If I want a new start, if I want to work on other WIPs, whatever I want to do, just during that month, I've got one focus piece that I'm really working towards finishing in that month. And then the other thing, you know, I've heard some people are like this. Some people are so good. They finish their thing, they got it up, they got it fully finished, and it's just gorgeous, and it's a pillow, and it's a wall hanging, and mine's a pile. Some things. I'll actually show you one of the fully finished things I did, but some things I finished, but I'm real bad about setting them in a pile for later because I love the stitching process. And it's not that I don't love my sewing machine Eugenie, because I do, but you know, it's just like when you have that 30 minutes in the evening or that, you know, an hour here or there, you're like, for me, I'm wanting to stitch. I'm like not wanting to go try to coordinate and make it, but then I love it. I love it when I finish it. Here is one of the ones I finished, and this is the Halloween Town, the Tiny Town series by Heart and Hand. Ah! Now how cute is that fully finished, right? So adorable. I love stitching. This is on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. I used all the called for threads. I love it so much. And I have a picture on my Instagram as well, but I bought like a little wooden easel and I just set it out there. And of course I bought all the other tiny towns. Christmas, Valentine's, patriotic tiny town, spring town, summer town. Gotta do all the towns. So I just thought it was so much fun. And I just put this, like this fun white trim with all these, they look like little cotton balls to me. I thought that looked so good with the white of the ghosts. I loved this one so much. And the back, I just put some more fabric on there. So it's just a super easy swap it in and out on the easel. Once I did this little thing, I had fun. And I was so happy because all fall season, I could just look up and see it. So, gotta listen to Annie. Annie, the Proper Stitcher. Hi, Annie. And her inspiration to just finish your stuff. Just do it. Just finish it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do it. And so I'm going to try every month, along with the one WIP finish, to fully finish 2 items. And I've got a pile over there. I have a small pile forming. So yeah, plenty of things to finish. So I'm just going to do it. And that leads me into my sister, Melissa. Hi, Lissy. She is Snow Day Stitcher on Instagram, and she just posted on her Instagram. She finished I think it's called All the Flowers. I can't remember who it's by, but go to her Instagram and check it out. I'm going to insert a picture here. She found a wooden board at Hobby Lobby and she just gave it the most simple finish. And I just love it. Doesn't take away from the stitching. I'll insert a picture here. So she's really good about being monogamous, finishing her stuff, and FFOing it. And so those are the plans. Those are the plans, people. So this month, my one WIP that I want to finish is Will You Be My Valentine? And I'm going to show you that in my WIP Parade. And then I have 2 FFOs planned. One is a gift for Nikki Noodle. Hi, Nikki. It was for her birthday, and I'm horribly late. I've had it stitched for a while. And the other one is Valentine's Day, which I've shown previously. So when I come back next time, hopefully I'll not only have to show you a completed WIP, but I'll have some FFOs too. And then I can start decorating my house more. So I'm liking these plans. So let's get into the stitching. I've got my little list of January through December, which ones I plan to fully finish each month, the 12, I'll say. So when they come across in the WIP Parade, I'll shout out which month they are. I reserve the right to change my mind, which I do frequently. So I reserve the right to change my mind on month and item. So let's get started. I write down all of my projects in this journal. I just love this thing. I got this journal when we were on a trip, a family vacation in Manistee. I just love the little quote, and it's just so colorful. And so in here, I just put the information on my projects, and I wanted to have that out so I could share with you all the fabrics. Should we start? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of talking. Okay, starting up. Number 1 WIP. This is Midnight Watch by Blackbird Designs. I love this pattern. I've been stitching on it for a couple of years now. It's a lot bigger than I thought, but it is such a joy to stitch. The border is a little tedious. The border is a little tedious with all the little, the zig and the zag and the ball attached. It's a little tedious, but I love stitching on this every time I've stitched on it. The first time I stitched this, so there's a story, there's always a story. I can't even remember what fabric I started stitching it on. I wasn't happy with the fabric. I wasn't happy with the colors. I had to swap out some of the colors. Like I think on this one, the color I used that, you know, just my skein, I didn't like the way it looked, was Classic Colorworks Ginger Snap. That moon turned out a little too yellow for me. So I subbed in some of my own colors and started again on 28 count 18th Century Brown by R&R. And I have them all sitting over here, pulled out of the bags, so that hopefully I can just go through these and show you as we go. So here is where I'm at. And hold on one second, let me grab a board. That'll be so much easier. Okay. So here's where I'm at. I did get work on this one this year. I did put in some work. And here's where it's at. Isn't that a sweet piece? I just love it so much. So this year, I got in this plant. I think I had a little bit of this plant, but I got some of this plant in, and I started doing more of this border. I think I might have done a couple of letters too. It's a super enjoyable stitch. I really love this one. I don't see it a lot on Flosstube, so I'm really excited to get this one done. I think I'm going to put it in like a black frame and then bring it out in the fall. It definitely will be an all fall piece. Isn't that so pretty? And I think the moon color, I think it might be either oatmeal or bamboo that I subbed out. And I was much happier with that color of moon. I wanted more of like a white looking moon versus a yellow. So that's the first one. I just love that piece. Okay. Second, this was a new start for me in 2022. I found Cherry Hill Stitchery, and down the rabbit hole I went. I got this one online. I downloaded the PDF, and it is called Autumn Acres. Isn't that so cute? Fall is my favorite time of year. Fall just speaks to me in all the ways. And so I was really excited to start this one with that little blackbird on the pumpkin. Super, super cute. So here's where I got to. I am stitching mine on 32 count Picture This Plus fog. And here's where I am. So I did a bit more stitching on this, I think, since the last time I showed it in a Flosstube. And basically, I just did filling in this pumpkin. If you look, there's like a zigzag pattern of a lighter color in there. I think it might be like Pumpkin Patch is the lighter color, and then a darker orange. So I did some of that fill in, and I think I did a couple of these stems here. And this is a fun one. I really, really like this one. Oh, I should look at my list. So Automakers did not make the list. Midnight Watch made the list for September. So Midnight Watch, this is going to be my WIP that I want to finish in September. That's the goal. And then obviously by October, I can have it up and display it. So Autumn Acres, I love it. It is not on the list to get finished this year. I got to put that list up or I'm going to forget to mention these. Okay. Next, Pink Sparrow Sampler. This is one of my favorite all-time stitches. Probably, I take that back. This is probably my favorite stitch I've done since I got back into cross stitch in 2017. In my beginning video, I had mentioned I had cross-stitched a bit when I was a teenager, you know, like the stuff you could find at Michael's or Joann's, the little kits, like the little ornament kits and stuff. And I always loved cross-stitch, but then it got to a point where some of the kits and stuff that were out there at my local store just didn't really resonate with me, you know, and I think that's kind of why I got away from cross-stitch and went into like yarn crafts for a while. But then in 2017, when I started looking up cross-stitch patterns again, the whole world opened to me. Wow. Yeah. The beauty of the internet, right? One of the positive things of the internet. So I have to say this pattern, this is Pink Sparrow Sampler. It is by Brenda Gervais. It's an antique reproduction. On the back, they show you the original sampler. I'll show you that. And they don't know who stitched it. But there's a really cool story. They think it dates in the 1840s. But like the pamphlet is really fun. There's some reading in there. So I just, not only does this have like the most beautiful soft colors and that little sparrow, which I love. Sparrows are my favorite bird because they're not flashy and they're not, nobody ever thinks of them as like, yay, sparrows are so beautiful. But I think they're the sweetest little things. They just chatter around my bird feeder and there's always like a big group of them. I just think they're so sweet. So this one really spoke to me. And I have decided that this year it's going to get finished. And the month for Pink Sparrow Sampler is April. So in April, I want to finish this. I have been working on this one the past, I want to say maybe 2 weeks. And I am almost done with page 3. There's 3 pages. The pattern is split into 3 pages. I am stitching mine on 32 count Weeks Dye Works Parchment, which is a beautiful color. Such a pretty color. And here's where I got to. Doesn't that just take your breath away? I could stare at this all the time, and I'm going to stare at it all the time because I'm going to finish it and get it on my wall. That's the plan. So I love this one so much. So this is, I think I was up to like these letters. And so here's what I've worked on in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. I finished coming down here in this border. These flowers are so beautiful. They're just like these big blossoms of, and they highlight the beauty of the floss, you know? They really put like a block together where you can just see how pretty it is. I love it so much. And then I finished this little dog with the basket, and then this is like a potted plant that's gonna come down here, and then I'm on to page 4. So I definitely think I can finish this in April. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And hanging on my wall. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna splurge and get that one framed because that is my favorite cross stitch of all time. To date. To date. Okay, next, ABC samplers. So this one is not on my list to finish this year. This is a big, big project. But I fell in love with it. I don't even know where I think I saw it. I think I saw Vanna Pfeiffer's on Facebook or Instagram or something, and it just drew me in. This is the first house, so they're sold individually. This is by Little House Needleworks. They sell them individually. You know, you could do them as little pillows or ornaments or whatever you want to do. Some people are doing them as a great big piece, and that is what I'm doing. So I am doing mine on 36 count vintage country mocha. And here's where I got to. I just love it. Look how tiny that little house is. I just like how it's like itty miniature little house with itty bitty little people and itty bitty little birds. It's so cute. And the fun thing is, like, each house has like a very different look. Some of them are seasonal. Some of them are just like a house in general or like a farm. I just think it's so pretty. And I love that you can stitch one, feel that accomplishment, but have it be part of a bigger piece. So I'm really enjoying this one. I think I worked on this maybe in like October, I think it was October of 2022. So that's a big one. That's going to be in my rotation for a while, which is just fine by me because I like it. Okay, next, Sweet Summer. Let's see, I think this is on my list. Yeah, so in July, I'm getting crazy in July. In July, I'm going to try and do 2 WIP finishes. And the reason why is these are smaller and I've got a good jump on one of them. So stretch goals will be 13 WIP finishes for the year. Okay, so this one is scheduled for July. This is Sweet Summer, and this is that rabbit hole I fell down with Cherry Hill Stitchery. Love their stuff, so cute. And this is Sweet Summer. How adorable is that? I love watermelon. Watermelon is one of my favorite foods in the summer. Yeah, I think everybody loves watermelon. And that bird, once again, that little blackbird or crow or I don't know, just little fluffy cuteness standing on the watermelon. I loved the colors in this. Like, I felt like it really popped. And so let me show you where I'm at with mine. I am stitching mine on, let's see, 32 count platinum. This piece of platinum I got from my friends Betsy Klager and Nikki Noodle. Thank you, ladies. Got it for my birthday. They got me a big piece, and I cut a piece out and got this guy started. Of course, I had to stitch that adorable feather bundle of cuteness, whatever bird that might be. Yeah, so this is going to be a fun one because, you know, obviously the letters are pretty easy because they're a solid color. There's some seeds in here that I've got to get filled in, and then I can just go with the watermelon color. But I think that'll be a fun little pillow to set up during summertime. So that's the plan for that one. Okay. Whew, that was 5. We're turning the page. I gotta start talking faster, don't I? Okay, B is for Bunny. This one I've got scheduled for March. And this is gonna be a stretch for March. I'm obsessed with bunnies. Many of you who are my friends here know that. I just think bunnies are so adorable. And I love stitching bunny stuff. So I saw, who did I see stitching this? Penny's daughter Shares. Michelle. I saw her stitching this and I had to go and get it. This is B is for Bunny by La Di Da. How cute is he? It's just so funky. It's like not the traditional looking bunny. He's got like spots on him and those flowers are really cool looking, but the colors are vibrant. And he's got the little basket of eggs, which are over one. But I had to have this. So B is for Bunny. The plan is to get this one done. Hold on, my needle binders are sticking together over here. The plan is to get this one done by end of March. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch, which is okay. I'm all about stretch goals. So here's where I'm at. Those 2 flowers, oh my gosh, aren't they beautiful? The colors in them. There's a lot of stitching. I mean, I just feel like flowers forever I'm stitching. And this border, I love it, this funky little border, but it's like dot, dot, square, dot, dot, square. So that takes some time, but I'm having fun with it. I think it's beautiful. This fabric I'm stitching on is 32 count vintage smoky white, which I thought was perfect because it makes like the color of the flowers pop in the background. Yeah. That is adorable. So I'm going to try and get that one done for March. That is the goal. Okay, next, United We Stand by Teresa Kogut. I love this one. I downloaded mine, so I will show you my printout. I think you've all seen this one probably, or most of you anyway. It's adorable. It makes me feel so patriotic and happy, and the love and America, and yeah, I love it. But holy cow, are those dresses. Those dresses mean business. You know, so many times I see a print, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I'll get that done in like a month, no problem. So United We Stand is on the books for June. I'd like to get it done in June, obviously, so I could have it out for July 4th. I am stitching mine on 32 count vintage country mocha, and here's where I'm at. I have miles of dress, just miles of dress to go. I thought about, like, maybe they don't need to be such tall people. Maybe I can just, but no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna persevere. It's just, and you know, it's not bad stitching. Like, it's a good one to just when you're watching TV or something, right? There's a few little things that are in here, like the words, and then you can just fill and fill and fill, but wow, fill, wow. They're, I modified mine, right? So here's the original pattern. So I modified mine with some fancy flosses. I changed the color of the hair on the girl to be brown because all me and my sisters have brown hair. So I changed that to brown, and I just love it so much. I love the fancy flosses in the dresses. It's just so adorable, and I can't wait to finish it. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a lot of dressmaking in June, and it's gonna happen and it's gonna get done. That's where that one is. Okay, Christmas rules. This one is woefully small in terms of the amount of stitching. When I got back into stitching in 2017, I found Lizzie Kate, and I found Halloween Rules. Priscilla and Chelsea had that on their channel, and I was just, holy cow, when did cross stitch become so cute? You can buy patterns online. I had no idea there was fancy floss. All of these things were just like, poof. And so I got Christmas Rules as a companion with Halloween Rules. And so I've got one of they come on little cards. You have to buy all the cards. But here's what it looks like when it's done. Absolutely adorable, right? So cute. So even though I haven't stitched on this in a long time, and even though I have very little done, I'm determined to get it finished someday because I think it's so cute and I don't want to give up on it. So I'm just gonna stay the course. Obviously, it's not on the list for being finished in 2023. So this is on 28 count clay joveled, and I love this color clay. I stitched Halloween Rules on this too. It's in my WIP pile, you'll see it. But I don't know if it's coming through to you here, but it's like the modeling in here has like a very slight like reddish pink. It's so pretty. I love this color. So there's my progress. I mean, there's progress, right? That's the same progress that's been there, I think, since 2017. But I don't want to get rid of it. I do want to do it. I'm going to try and put some work on it this year. And you know, it's one of those fun ones where it's, you know, like I mentioned, it's the blocks. So you can get the satisfaction of a feel, you know, the satisfaction feel, even though you have miles to go. But yeah, I do love that one. So it's staying in the rotation. Okay, next, Elizabeth Addlesey, confession time. So first of all, this was a stitch along for Betsy Klager. It was her Stupid Tumor sale. Go check out her channel if you haven't. She is authentic and real and kind. She's always talking about other people and thinking about other people and funny. You will not meet a more real human being on Flosstube, I don't think. She is just so authentically herself. I love it. So this was the stitch along, Elizabeth Addlesey by Hedgerow Stitching. So pretty, age 10, such a beautiful, beautiful stitch. I am stitching mine on 32 count light mocha. I do not have this in the plan. I want to squeeze it in the plan. Can we get more months in a year? I might try to squeeze it in somewhere. If I can get one of these where I don't have very much done, or I don't have very much to go, and I can get it done in the first part of the month, I might try to squeeze this one in. But the confessions. So this is on, I don't know if I told you, 32 count light mocha. Here it is. Love the colors. Love those blues. So stunning. Such a beautiful sampler. Enjoyed every stitch. I screwed up somewhere. Right about here. These are off. And so I was like, well, I could fudge. I'm not a fudger. I'm one of those people, like, I know it's wrong. It's going to bother me that it's wrong. And I know I need to just chill out a bit. So I thought about like continuing this over, coming down from this side and working my way in, and then kind of like fudging that last motif in the middle, you know, because it's symmetrical. I haven't decided, but that is what has been holding me back, because I just haven't been able to decide. Like, I don't know exactly where I'm off here yet. So I just need to sit down a little time with it, figure out where I'm off, figure out how big of a deal it is to rip it out, frog it, and get back on track. Okay, next, the Sarah Johnson sampler. You guys, so I found this on eBay. It's on eBay. Like, it's not like it's a hard sampler to get. But I love doing these samplers. I love the history behind the girls or the men that have stitched them. Like, they come with the stories of these people, and I love that. I love the historical aspect of samplers. But what I hadn't come across is like an American sampler. I was like, I would like one, you know, from America. Like, that would be really cool to me. So I found the Sarah Johnson sampler. And it talks about how it says, our thanks to Verna Webster for rescuing the original Sarah Johnson sampler from her Oklahoma attic. Stitched in 1814 in Pennsylvania, the sampler traveled to Ohio with Sarah's family, then on to Oklahoma in the early 1920s. It was stretched and nailed to a wood board for framing, a common technique which often led to deterioration. Fortunately, no extensive damage was done to Sarah's lovely legacy. And so let me flip it over and get rid of so you can't see this, but there's the original. How cool is that? And if you think about the things that were going on in Pennsylvania in 1814, it's cool to me to look beyond yourself and think about, yeah, well, you think life is tough, and yeah, well, hey, try to be in Pennsylvania in 1814. I don't think they had Colgate. I know they didn't have Colgate back then. So I love this sampler. To say all that, I love this sampler. The sampler is all charted in, I think it's all in DMC, which is fine. But I've decided to change some of the colors to, ooh, getting a really bad glare on it. I've decided to change some of the colors, brighten it up a little bit, change a little bit. So I've been working my way through that. But for me, you know, some people are so talented at color changes, like picking different colors, subbing in fancy flosses for DMC. For me, it takes me a long time, because I just feel like I second guess myself, like, oh, maybe this one looked better. You know, I got this big pile of flosses. So anyway, I'm stitching this on 32 count parchment. The Sarah Johnson sampler is by American Cross Stitch Ink. And here's where I've gotten to. So pretty. What a fun border that is. I mean, it's a lot of stitching, but it's really fun. And those delicate little rosebuds, so pretty. So I really like this. I really like samplers, because when I'm stitching them, I love biographies, documentaries, that type of thing. I love to just step out of your own world and get a perspective of what someone else's life is like or was like. So fun. Next, Oh Joyous Day. I love this one. Blackbird Designs. I'm sure most of you have seen this. The colors in this are stunning. It's a beautiful piece. It's just ginormous. It's ginormous. But that's okay. I'm in it for the long haul. Sarah Johnson, by the way, did not make the list for 12. This obviously did not make the list for 12. I love the colors. One of my favorite floss colors is Red Pear by Weeks Dye Works, and that's what that house is in the middle. I love it so much. Okay, so mine, I am stitching this on 32 count Picture This Plus fog. And here's where I've gotten to. So you can see big fabric, big piece, but so pretty. I mean, so, I don't know, so delicate, I love this one so much. That's my little flower shop needle minder from Nikki Noodles. Thank you, Nikki. So I love this one. But it's going to take me a while. I'm not the world's fastest stitcher. And I will say, the other thing I forgot to mention is, so with everything going on, I wasn't able to stitch as much as I wanted either because I started getting a lot of hand pain, like tendonitis, like, you know, from here into my elbow. And I'm like a one-handed stitcher, right hand poke and stab method. I'm not a fan of the sewing method. You know, that's one-handed too, because I like my fabric like taut in a Q-snap. So I started trying to do two-handed stitching, and it's helped. It's helped with the pain, you know, not all the motion being in my right hand, but it slowed me down learning that. I'm starting to gain some speed now though, and yeah, so I've had to change my method of stitching, which, you know, you have to pivot in life. You have to pivot. When one thing's not working out, you've got to be flexible and you've got to pivot. And so that's what I'm telling myself. And yeah, so that is going to take me a little while, but that's okay. Okay, next, where was I at? Oh, this is the day. So this came out in market last year by Plum Street Samplers. Cindy from Cindy's Cross Stitch finished this. You can check it out on her Instagram or one of her Flosstubes. It's beautiful. What caught my eye was the pink in that house, and then this goat up here, this flying goat above the flowers. I just think it's so pretty. And that's one of my favorite, quotes. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I love that from the Bible. So I am stitching mine on 32 count American Chestnut R&R. Now, I don't know about everybody else's American Chestnut, but mine smells so good. It's kept its smell. I don't know. It's not like tea or coffee. It's just like this really rich, yummy smell. So I enjoy sniffing this fabric while I stitch it. And here's where I'm at. So of course I got that goat in. Look at him, or a ram. Maybe that's a ram. Whatever, he's adorable. He's flying over the flower pot of enormous flowers, which is super cute. So yeah, I love this. I love these pinks. These pinks and reds. Oh, that is just my jam. And I love the teal up here, this teal color. Super fun. Not on the list for this year. Obviously, this is a bigger project, but I will be stitching on it this year. Okay, number 13. I just speed it up a little bit here. I've got 35 whips. Okay, number 13 is Good Company by the Scarlet House. I saw Lisa, the Kindred Stitcher, showed this on her channel. I ran off to buy it. It was years ago now. I love this. The quote is, or the saying is, she lives on a hill overlooking the sea with only her dogs for good company. She doesn't need less, she doesn't need more than to hear the waves crash into the shore. Love it. I'm a dog mommy, so I love this. So pretty. I love all the little animals on the bank. So I went for it on this one. I got, this is on 32 count buttercream linen by Lakeside Linens. I got all of the silks. This is the first project that I stitched on silks with. And here is where I'm up to. What slowed me down on this one is the over one words. I am not a fan of over one. If there's some trick that makes you love it, please share. I'm not a fan of over one, but I am a fan of this piece. And filling in these diamonds, if you look, there's like several layers of color, is pretty tedious, but it's a beautiful effect when you look at it. The silks are gorgeous. I really enjoy stitching on it. You know, it's just, I really enjoy stitching on all of them. So that did not make the list to get finished this year, but I will put in some work on it. Okay, next, spring delivery. So I saw Annie, the Proper Stitcher. She posted on her Instagram, I can't remember how long ago now, but her finish of this, and she finished it so cute. And so I ran off and got it by Brenda Gervais with my love of bunnies. I am stitching mine on 32 count light mocha. This did not make the list, but it's another one I'm maybe gonna sneak in. But my bunny stitching for March is pretty heavy with B is for bunny. But this is where I got to. So I got these little flowers in the corner and these triangles up here. They have, you know, some different colors in them. Took me a little while, and some of the letters. I gotta get to the fun part. I gotta get to the bunny. Okay, 15. There's a story with this one too. So my friend Amanda Plummer, 2 M's, Plummer, she finished this. So check out her Instagram. It's gorgeous. She saw me start it and she finished it. Thank you, girl. You are inspiring me to keep going. So this is by Teresa Kogut, For the Love of Nature. I'm a big animal lover. I probably could have been a vet. But yeah, just all the little critters in this, and the deer and the squirrel doing a nose to nose, smoochy. I am here for it. So I started that one. I am stitching mine. So there's a story. I was stitching mine on 32 count light mocha, I think. And I was stitching along slowly, but the color of the border, I think it's caramel. I think it's, what color is it? Caramel. My classic color works. This border color here was not showing up good in my fabric. And it was really like, the farther I got, I just kept going back to, I'm not liking it. So I got down into the house and I just decided to start over. Luckily, I had received some beautiful fabric from number 12 Stitch Co. per recommendation of Nikki Noodle. So I am stitching this on the piece I received, 32 count Spice. And look at that border now. So much better. I can see it. I can see all the design and intricacy in it. I'm so much happier. So this is my restart. I think I worked on it for maybe like 4 or 5 days just to get some stitches back on it and get it back in my WIP rotation. I love this piece. It is not on my list to finish in 2023, but I definitely am going to try and do some stitching on it because it's so cute. Okay, Peace on Earth sampler. This is another one I saw Kindred Stitcher Lisa do. She finished hers in a flash. I think she must whip out extra arms or have people stitching 24 around the clock for 24 hours around the clock. I love this one. I love the color of this house. And I took her recommendation on the Gloriana that she used and the letters there for Merry Christmas. This is such a pretty piece. What's holding me back on this one? So this is, first of all, this is on 36 count Sand Dunes. And the word Merry Christmas is in Arnhem Heath by Gloriana. That like rainbowy silk. Isn't that so pretty? The Merry Christmas. So I love this. You could tell I was in a big hurry to get up to that beautiful pink house. So I did that corner to kind of ground myself and came up into the house. I'm off in the house. I think I have 1 extra row in the house, and then it's translating into the word Christmas being off. So I need to do some frogging on this. It's a big piece, so it's going to take me some time, but I need to sit down and do a little frogging and fix it. It's not one of those I can fudge. I mean, I'm not a fudger, but it's one of those I'll be able to tell. Okay, next, Kiss from Snowman. This is a Dimensions kit. Gold collection. I got this to stitch for my mom. My mom loves snowmen, and this looks like my mom when she was little. I, again, restarted this. I had done it on the kit fabric, and I just wasn't happy with the way it was turning out. I didn't like my stitches at the time. I feel like I was like very early on back into stitching, and this is a special piece to me, so I wanted to redo it, and I'm redoing it just on some basic 18 count white Aida. And I restarted it, and that's where I'm at. So I'm liking the way my stitches are laying much better. Yeah, this is a fun one. Very realistic looking. Not on the list to finish this year, but I will get some stitches in. It's one of those bigger pieces for me. Harvest time. Okay, this is by the Prairie Schooler. I saw Brenda Henrik Maniac stitch this. She turned it into a pillow. I love that fall scene. I'm obsessed with fall. So I love the fall scene. And so I'm stitching mine on just a basic 32 count antique white. And I'm getting close. So this is on the list. Oop, just dropped something. So this is on the list for October for me to get finished. And this is where I'm at. Isn't that pretty? I love those trees, the fall vibe, the little wagon with the pumpkins in it. I like stitching houses. Some people are in the stitching houses camp, some people aren't, but I really enjoy it. So I think I can finish that in October. I think I can do it. And so it's on the list for October. Okay, love lives here. I saw Amanda, Alba Stitcher, amazing person, wonderful channel. She posts regularly and she gets a ton of stitching done and she gets haul, which I love. So go check out Amanda's channel. She stitched this Love Lives Here by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I had to have it. Had to have it, ran and got it. I love Valentine themed pieces and hearts, and I love it. So I am stitching mine. I started this maybe September, October this year. This is 36 count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit. And here is where I got to. I really like how it's turning out. The pinks are so pretty. It's just such a cute, happy little chart. I really love it. Really love it. That is on the list for February. I think that's doable for February. It's not a huge chart. So I think I can finish that in February. So I've got that on the list to be finished in February. Okay, next. Let's see, you're turning the page here. Number 20, Halloween rules. Okay, so there's a story with this one. I have so many confessional stories when I do Flosstube with my WIP parades. Okay, so I told you the story about how I saw this Priscilla and Chelsea when I got back into stitching. Love it so much. Love how they finished it. Just an adorable piece. I am stitching mine on that 36 count clay Jobelin. Let me open it up. And I got really far. Let me see if I can hold this whole thing up. I got really far. Isn't that so bright and cheerful and cute? I love this one. I got really far, and what I realized when I started, I didn't do this border to start. I lined everything up and I was doing these blocks, and all of these blocks right on the money. Where I was off is this top and compared to the block below. And so when I went to do the border, I was off. And I was only off like 2-3 stitches, but it's enough that you can tell. And so the plan for this one is, and you can see I started doing it, is to frog out the top, redo the top, and just carry the border down and finish up the last couple of blocks. But I think it's just that, you know, the thought of frogging out stitches that has held me back on this one. I don't have it on the list for this year. I probably should. But I definitely want to get some work in this year because I want to get back on track with it. My sister Melissa finished hers. It's so adorable. She finished it on like an old white picket fence piece. It's so cute. And every time I go over at Halloween time, I see it and I love it. So I need to get it finished. I need to. Number 21, Betsy Klager. If you are watching this, plug your ears and turn away. So I'm stitching this for Betsy. I started last year, I think like the end of September. I wanted to have it done for her birthday in November, and I sadly did not make it. So don't look, Betsy. It's this chart. Isn't that so cute? So cute. Love the colors in it. I'm going to personalize it. If you know Betsy, you'll know what I'm personalizing on it. And here's where I'm at. So I'm stitching this one on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. It's a fun chart. I love the colors in it. So the goal is to get that one done this year and get that sent off to my sweet friend. Okay, next, Wander. I'm going to insert a picture here. I don't have a PDF printout of it. I'll insert the picture here. It's by 2x2 Stitch Art. I'm stitching mine on 32 count white linen. There's a story with this one too. This is my second time stitching it. I want to say maybe 2/3 of the way through and found a mistake, and I was frogging it out with a seam ripper and I nipped my fabric. And so I started over. And I do love this one. I have it as getting finished in December of next year as my WIP to finish in December. Here's where I'm at. This is on, I don't know if I said it, just 32 count white linen. And it says, "Not all who wander are lost." I love the look of this. I love that singing, and I just think those blues are so beautiful. So yeah, this is going to be a big one to get in December because I still have the other half of the sphere here. Yeah, big one, but I can do it. I think I could do it. Okay, next, Seize the Day. So this is on the list to get finished in July with Sweet Summertime. And I had mentioned to you I was quite a bit farther on one. This is the one I'm quite a bit farther on. I saw this on Cindy's Cross Stitch channel. Love the blues. I thought it was so fun for summer to put up in my summer display. I had like a nautical theme going. So I'm stitching this one on 32 count summer khaki. And here's where I am. So as you can see, I'm getting close. I got that sail done, which was pretty intricate. You know, a lot of counting because of all these little C's or little designs in the sail that make it look so dimensional. I just think it's so pretty. But I'm getting close, so I think I can definitely get this one finished in July. And then I'll immediately try to start and finish Sweet Summertime. And that's so pretty. I love those blues in that and those little orange fishies. So summery. Okay, next is my Home in the Garden. I am stitching this. Now I'm just stitching it with Nikki. Me and Betsy Klager and Nikki Noodle started this together for her birthday, Nikki's birthday. I love this design. It's by Hello from Liz Matthews. So beautiful. It's charted in Gloriana. Nikki did a floss conversion into fancy floss, and I used that, and then I adjusted a few of the flosses to my liking. And let me show you where I'm at. So this is on 32 count white linen. This is where I've got you now. Betsy Klager just posted a Flosstube. Go check it out. She finished hers. This is where I'm at with mine. And I love it so much. Those flowers are so pretty. I love the vibrancy of the colors. They're vibrant, but I don't know, they're still soft somehow. I just love the look of it. It's such a joy to stitch. But Betsy stitched on hers monogamously and she finished it, and it's super inspiring. Me and Nikki need to get our rear in gear on that. Right, Nikki? Okay, next is the Bee Skep. So the Bee Skep made my list to get finished in August. And that's this one here. This is Agnes Platt's Strawberry Sampler by Blackbird Designs. And I saw Nikki stitch this one. I love that sweet summery scene with the little bees and the colorful red and pink of that brick. Love it so much. So I am stitching mine on 32 count Picture This Plus Wren. And here's where I got to. So I've got a good start on this one. This one I've got scheduled for August to be complete. I think I can do it. There's still quite a bit of stitching to do, but I think I got this one. Isn't that so pretty? I love the colors in that one. Summery, summery, summery. Okay, next, stitching in quilt. This one I am stitching on 32 count American Chestnut by R&R. It does smell very nice. This is not on my list to finish. I am stitching this, first of all, let me show you the pattern. Stitching in Quilt by Curie E. Batacuri. I think that's the best I can do. I am stitching this with Amanda, Alba Stitcher. She's stitching, so they have these like summer in quilt, Halloween in quilt, Christmas in quilt, spring in quilt. I may own them. They're super cute though. I mean, like the colors and just playfulness of the pattern. It just, I love it. Amanda's working on hers, the Halloween one, and I'm doing this one, Stitching in Quilt. These are much bigger, like, than I envisioned when I purchased them, when I looked at them. So it's actually quite large. Here's where I'm at. But like when I finish it, it's gonna be pretty good size. So I did do a bit more on this. I think since the last time I showed you guys, I worked over here on the flowers. I love this. I love that little girl sitting on the pin cushion. What I think looks like a pin cushion. Cross stitching away. It's such a cute pattern. And I do want to do the others too. This is not on the list to get finished this year, but I definitely will put in time on it on our stitch along, Amanda. Okay, next is Penny Pumpkin. I saw Michelle, I mentioned her earlier, Penny's daughter Shares, stitch this. She turned it in the most adorable pillow with like black pom-poms around the edge, and I just rushed off to buy it. I love this pattern. I just love the white pumpkin on it. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Wren by Picture This Plus. And here's where I'm at. Now I did pick this up and do a little bit of stitching on it this year. I just kept getting caught up in this 1 by 1, 1 over 1. My stitches just, I don't know, they don't lay as nicely, you know, as the 2 over 2 for me. I think my tension, I think I have like too much tension and I just need to chill out and not pull the thread so hard. But yeah, so I got to give that another swing. But I really enjoy this pattern. I think it's beautiful. I think this penny border is really pretty. It's really a pretty pattern. Penny Pumpkin is on the list for November. So that is the goal, to get that one. You know, you can see I've got quite a bit of stitching done. I think I can get that one done by November. Liberty's Welcome. So sad. I talked my sweet sister Melissa into stitching this with me as a stitch along on a sister weekend. We were watching Flosstube. We saw Christy stitch this one, and she pulled it out. There's just this beautiful frame from Crosshatch Quilts. Christy from Crosshatch Quilts. She pulled it out in this beautiful frame, and we're like, yes, let's stitch it together. Melissa's done. Her older sister is not done. The last time I stitched on this was, I didn't even stitch on it in 2022. I think it was July 4th of 2021 was the last time I stitched on it. We are both stitching it on 32 count light mocha with the called for silks, and here it is. It's not that I don't love it. I really love it. It just hasn't called to me. I don't know why. So I haven't put many stitches into it lately, but I'm definitely going to finish it because my sister did it and I talked her into it, and so I'm going to finish mine too. I'm going to have to keep looking at yours, Melissa, to inspire me. Okay, next. So that's not on the list of 12. In the Meadow, this is such a sweet design. So I wanted to try a Bothy Threads kit, and I'm so glad I did. Of course, it was a bunny that I picked. How sweet is that? And I saw this exact bunny in my neighbor's yard. Like they have, I think they're called Patriot hostas maybe, and they get those purple flowers, and this brown bunny jumped out from under their deck, and I was like, see, it's meant to be. Isn't he so cute and so realistic? So the fabric that comes in this kit is like this speckled, this white Aida speckled with black. I didn't use that. I decided to, I'm using the kit threads, but I'm doing mine on 36 count raw linen. And it's just so soft and realistic. Isn't that so pretty? Look at that cute little ear. I did not stitch on this at all last year. Again, not that I don't love it. It's just I've got a lot of them, you know, and it just didn't make it onto my Q-snap. I'm not planning to finish this next year. It's not on the list of 12, but I'm definitely going to put some stitches in. I guess that's a goal. You know, I keep saying that, but I guess that's a goal overall, is not only to finish 1 WIP per month, but to get some stitches in on everything. Taryn Verley, if you haven't watched her Flosstube channel, you got to go check her out. She's one of my absolute favorites. She is just so funny. Love you, girl. But she has like something like over 100 WIPs, but she gets stitches in. I mean, she just rotates them in and she keeps going and she gets her stitches in on them all. So I have to be inspired from Taryn. Okay, next is the token. And I have good news on the token. So Long Dog Samplers. I love this. What I decided to do with this when I started stitching it is, and this is a token of love, and then it's got like some initials for, you know, like an anniversary, like a wedding date. I decided to make this a family sampler and to put the initials of my nieces and nephew on this. And now that my 6th niece, 7th niece nephew combination has been born, I can plan out the letters in there. So I've got to get back to work on this one. I love this so much. It's such a pretty sampler. I am stitching mine on 32 count ivory linen, and I am using DMC 814. I saw Shiloh Cross Stitch MD stitch this, and I just used the exact same thread she did because hers turned out so beautifully. So here's where I'm at. Isn't that so pretty? I love that one. It's fun to do. If you haven't done a monochromatic sampler, they're fun because you're just looking at the pattern, right? And you're not constantly looking at the chart and different colors. Not that I don't love colorful stuff, because I do, you know, as you can see by my pile here, but that is a nice break to just monochromatically stitch. Not on the list of 12. It's a big one. Mary Clayton. This is another one. So fun. It's like a big chunky book. Hands Across the Sea sampler. It talks about Mary Clayton in here, what they know of her. It talks about the country at that time and what was going on and what the people were, you know, dealing with in their everyday life. I just found it such a fun history lesson. And they think based on, they don't know for sure, but they think based on this building with the little cross on the top that this might have been the orphanage she was staying at the time. I just think it's so pretty. I mean, can you believe this girl was 9 years old? 9 years old. It's unbelievable how talented some of these little girls were at the time. It's just unbelievable. So I love this one. I saw Betsy Klager stitching it, had to have it. I am stitching mine on 32 count Cappuccino by Fiber on a Whim. Beautiful color, fabric, really, really nice. Let's see, and here is where I got to. This is another needle minder from Nikki. And this is where I got to. So pretty. It's stitched in silks. It's just a beautiful pattern. I didn't get much time in it. I hit it for maybe like 2 weeks, I think, when I first got it, and then set it aside. So not in my list to finish this year, but definitely one I want to work on because I just love those samplers and the historical factor behind them. They're just fascinating to me. Okay, Fruit of Plenty. This was a stitch along, Modern Folk Embroideries 2021 stitch along. And I joined in on this. Unfortunately, I fell behind, which is okay because I'm in it for the journey and I'm not gonna beat myself up over stitching. I got enough things in life to do that for. So I am stitching mine on 32 count light sand. What I decided to do with this one as I was stitching it, and I told the story before, but I was stitching a big portion of this sampler when my mom had hip replacement surgery, and I went to stay with her for a few days and just watch over her a little bit. And so I decided to just put in the initials of my family into the sampler whenever the mood struck. So like whenever I was working on the sampler, I knew it was going to be, you know, more than a year for me. I did try to keep up, but then I quickly realized. So I knew it was going to span over a length of time, and I thought how fun that would be to look back at the sampler when it's finished and see the initial and when I was stitching that part of the pattern and who I was thinking of. I thought that was beautiful. So in the February block, I put my mom's initial, D. Let me just show you. So it's on 32 count light sand. I'm using DMC 3031, which is the mocha color, and 3065, which I think is like a desert sand pink color. I love this one. It's so beautiful. So here in the January block, I have an F for Fred. That's my grandfather who just passed away. And at the bottom there, I have an L for Lolly. I was thinking of them at that time because my grandmother had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And then here in this February block, I was thinking about my mom. So I put in a D for Debbie. In the March block here, these are all so pretty. This makes me want to stitch on this today. This is M and M for Megan and Magnolia. My sweet niece Magnolia ended up getting rushed to the hospital. She had a really high fever. She was really sick. And it was in heavy COVID times, so we could not be there with Megan. You know, it was just her and the baby. And so that night, when I was fretting away, I was stitching. And so I put their names in there to remind me how much I love them and how grateful I am that they are healthy and happy in here. So this is a beautiful project. I really need to start making more progress on this one. You know, sometimes it can feel overwhelming because it's so large, but Taryn Verlay, go check out her channel. has taught me that a few stitches a day really add up over time. You know, it's one of those, it's a lesson in life really, but right, but a little at a time adds up over time. She just finished at the end of 2022 her son Wyatt's Christmas stocking, and it was, I mean, one of those super dimensions gold, a million stitches and a million back stitches Christmas stocking. I don't know that I could finish one of those. I don't know that I have that kind of patience. But she decided, I think at the beginning of last year, she was finishing it this year, and she did a few stitches every day, like in the morning. It was like her focus piece, and she finished it. So I'm so happy for you, Taryn. I think of you when I think of that. Okay, 3 more to go. Sorry this is so long, guys. I'm over an hour. Christmas Advent. So I printed this out. This is by Crochet A Go-Go. It's another stitch along I'm doing with my sister. We are stitching this together. She is much farther along than I am. But I will show you my progress so far. I did get progress on this in 2022. I'm stitching this on 32 count raw linen with the called for DMC. Isn't that so precious? So I think the last time I had showed you, I was like halfway through this gingerbread house. So I finished like up here on the roof and some of this back stitching, which, oh, it's such a pain. I finished this gingerbread house, which I think is probably my favorite so far. And then I moved over here and I finished the stocking. Isn't that so cute? I love it. I have to go back. I don't think I had the yellow at the time. I have to go back and put the little flame on this candle. And then I'm going to move up here, and I think this one is the black cat on a sled. It's such a fun piece. It really is. I enjoy it. I enjoy those little finishes. Melissa will finish it before me. I can guarantee that will happen. So when she does, I'll put a picture on here. Okay, 2 more. Flea Market Flowers. I love this one. Michelle, you have inspired a lot of my purchases. Michelle stitched this one. She turned it into this beautiful wall hanging with some beads. It was just so stunning to me when she showed it. I love the colors in this one, and I love that it's a stitch you don't have to think super hard about, right? Like it's got kind of the blocks of color, and you're not like, it's not confetti, there's not back stitch. 32 count antique white is what I'm stitching mine on, and I did make some progress on this one last year. This is where I'm at. Oh, isn't this flower just so eye-catching? Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So I finished off this block. I think I had like 2 of these flowers, maybe like half of this. So I finished off these, I finished off the bottom, and then I headed over here and I finished off this guy. Isn't that so pretty? So I do have Flea Market Flowers on the list, I believe. Do I? Yes, for May. And I still have a lot of stitching to do on this one. So that is a very lofty goal for May. But April showers bring May flowers. Hopefully I'll feel that inspiration to get that one done. And last but not least, I saw the Globe-Trotting Stitcher finish this one. Will You Be My Valentine? I love this. It's so pretty. She had it framed. It was just so beautiful. I loved it so much. So I ran off and bought it. I am stitching mine on 32 count Picture This Plus red. And here's where I am. This one, folks, is January's goal. So I've got the cart mainly done. I think I have one more flower. Whoops. One more flower to do. Let me see if I can hold all of this together. One more flower here in the back to do. The rest of the border. And that adorable sheepy. I think I can do it. And then I can set it out for Valentine's Day, which would be fun. So that is January's WIP goal. Whew, I think I'm actually sweating. That was a lot of talking. Thanks for sticking in with me this long. I hope you enjoyed the WIP Parade. I really hope it gave you some inspiration to do some things, new starts or some charts that you hadn't seen before. Before I run, I wanted to say thank you. I received some very sweet Christmas gifts, which were not necessary, but my friend Leanne, who's Small Town Stitches, check out her channel. Leanne did all the days of December Flossmas, every day. She managed to work, clean the house, raise her daughter, be a wife, grocery shop, make the dinner, and record a video every single day in December. Hats off to you, girl. But this was a chart she stitched that she passed along to me. She finished this. If you go to her Flosstube, you can see it. And it's just such a beautiful chart. It's by, let's see, Sue Hillis Designs. I love this chart. And so she very kindly passed it on to me, along with 2 beautiful hanks of yarn. Thank you, Leanne. That was so very sweet of you. I'm super excited. You know, and all of my crafty ideas that I've got a whole pile of yarn right here that these are going to the front of. I want to make socks with in all my free time. And then my friend Cindy from Cindy's Cross Stitch. Cindy is the very first Flosstube friend I made when I joined Flosstube in 2017, end of 2017. She is a Snoopy nut like me, and so she got me this Snoopy mug. Thank you so much, Cindy. She said I was on her heart and she wanted to send that to me, which was so very kind. I really appreciate that, ladies. Okay, before we go, man, it's been a while since I've done this happy card thing. I don't even know what number we're on. I am receptive, number 18. What do we got, 30 of these, I think? So we're getting there. Okay. I am open to new ideas. I am willing to try different methods, and I consider alternate viewpoints. I welcome intellectual stimulation. I am receptive. This is funny. Sometimes I feel like I'm reading like my own tarot cards or something. It's funny how I read these and I can instantly apply it to my life. I was just talking about earlier how I had to pivot with the cross stitch. Like I feel stubborn and I want to stitch my one way with my stab and poke method with my right hand and my left hand, and I don't want to do two-handed stitching. But I had to be receptive to that idea because my body was telling me it needed a break and I needed to spread the love between 2 hands. And so by being receptive, I was able to continue my cross-stitching hobby. So yeah, take that one to heart. And I think that's super important in the world we're in today. You know, it's okay for people to have different opinions. It's okay not to agree, but still love your friends and love your family. You know, don't disown them and don't get angry. It's okay to have different perspectives and to be open-minded to that. So I love that one. Very, very, my tarot card for the day. So thanks for sticking in with me, guys. I really appreciate all the support, all the kind comments you guys always leave on my Flosstube. You know, getting to know this community has really been my main driver for doing this. I love watching Flosstube. I love seeing people's stuff on Instagram, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. So until we talk, until next time, happy stitching and happy 23. Bye.